Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome back, alhamdulillah. Let's just do a recap on some key points about the existence of Allah. First of all, let's just look at an ayah of the Quran, which is in Surah 52, ayah 35 and 36. In this, Allah says, the meaning of which is, or were they created by nothing? Or were they the creators of themselves? Or did they create the heavens and the earth? Rather, they are not certain. So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is putting forward three questions. And really, when we examine the existence of the universe, there are only these possibilities. In fact, they're not even possibilities. So these are really what we call rhetorical questions. When we say a rhetorical question, it's a question that the answer to it is obvious. You don't need to answer it because the answer is so obvious. So in this case, did it come from nothing? The obvious answer is no. Because nothing can create what? If you have nothing, what can nothing do? Nothing. From nothing, nothing comes. If you have nothing, how can something come from nothing? This is one of the universal laws that we talked about. You don't get something coming from nothing. And if you have nothing, you can't have something from nothing. So the point being is there must have been something. The universe could not have come from nowhere or from nothing. So the second possibility is, did it create itself? But if it wasn't there in the first place, how could it have brought itself into existence? The other point about did it create itself is that the universe is a collection of stars and galaxies. And we don't attribute to stars and galaxies the ability to organize. Rather, they themselves are in need of being organized. Yeah? So it's not an attribute of anything in the universe. And the universe is nothing but a collection of stars and galaxies. So nothing that we know of in the universe individually has the ability to organize and systemize the universe itself. If it doesn't have that ability individually, there's no reason to suppose that it could do that collectively either. Right? So the point being is that individually and collectively, we don't attribute to anything in the universe the ability to organize the universe. Rather, that ability to organize, or the fact of its being organized, must come from something outside itself. And obviously, we are not the creators of it. We are not the organizers of it. And this is important because some religions attribute the creation of the universe to a human being. But the human being is part of the universe. And a human being itself needs to be organized and needs to be created. So the claim that something is created and is the creator at the same time would mean also it would contradict the universal law that we already discussed. Something cannot be its opposite. How can something be the creator and created at the same time? Because one necessarily excludes the other. To be the creator, you must not be created. And to be created, you can't be the creator. They are opposites. So what is the conclusion? What is left? No, the universe must have a creator that is external to itself. So the creator of the universe cannot be part of the universe. The creator of the universe must be different and must be distinct from the universe. Do we understand the logic of that? It's very simple logic. So the one who made the glass, did a glass make another glass? Was this glass made by another glass? Would that make any sense? Was my pen made by another pen? No, we don't find any example like this. Even when we have examples of machines making other machines, ultimately the machine needs to be made by something other than a machine. Right? It's true in factories we have some machines making cars, but ultimately those machines have still been made by human beings. Now I know that this begs the question ultimately then, if everything needs a creator, who created the creator? I understand that, and we're going to answer that question. And we're going to go over this again because it's very important. But the main arguments here, did the universe come from nothing? First possibility. Yes or no? Did the universe come from nothing? No, it's not possible. Did it create itself? Not possible. So what's the alternative? It must have a creator. Excellent. So we understand that the creator is powerful. And Allah says in the Quran, the meaning of which is, in the 3rd surah, 190th ayah, indeed in the creation of the heavens and the earth and the alternation of the night and the day are signs for those who have understanding. So in the creation of the universe and the alternation of the night and the day, we have signs. Signs mean it's something that points us in a direction. It leads us to a conclusion. It leads us in a particular way. So all of these signs lead us to understand the existence of Allah, the sovereignty of Allah, the power of Allah, or the power and the sovereignty of the creator of this universe. Right? So we've gone over that. We went through the ordering of our universe. We went through the solar system. Basically, all of these things are showing that there must be a powerful being that has designed and created the universe in which we live. So the order of the universe indicates the intelligence of the creator. And generally our experience is, the more sophisticated the machine, the higher the level of intelligence that has produced that machine. Yes? The greater the level of organizational capacity. That's generally true. Yes? That's why there are various ways we can measure how advanced technologically any particular society is. If a technology is able to manufacture cars, for example, that is the sign of quite a sophisticated society technologically. If they're able to produce sophisticated fighter jet aircraft, that's a very high level of technology, right? So they have reached a higher level of technological sophistication. So therefore we can look at the complexity of our universe, and when we see and we realize how amazingly complex the universe is. I was watching a program in which they were describing about the universe, about these scientists were saying that the universe, it's almost as if it is a absolutely massive mathematical equation. A hugely complex mathematical equation. And they said we're only glimpsing a minute piece of it. So even the minute piece of what they can see and what they can understand is hugely complex. How is it really conceivable that something so complex? Most of us, we can manage basic arithmetic. And we're still highly complex creatures. But the level of mathematics that we find, and the level that you need to be able to understand the equations that are describing our universe, both on the cosmic level and at the minute level, the quantum level, it's highly sophisticated. So therefore, just the thought that this might be something random is bordering on the ridiculous. Rather, doesn't it make more sense that this is a product of something or someone or some being that is highly, highly intelligent, wise, and powerful? This is a much more rational explanation. So, that's just a recap of some of the arguments that we discussed about the existence of God. Now, we want to move on to the next part, which is oneness. Why is this topic so important? The reason why this topic is so important is because what differentiates, my dear brothers and sisters listening, what differentiates our belief as Muslims, what makes us different from the Hindu, the Jew, the Christian, the Zoroastrian, and many other religions, is not our belief in the existence of God. Every religion, except perhaps Buddhism, which you could argue is not a religion anyway, it's more of a philosophy, but I don't want to get into that. Every religion believes that there is one God. Okay, brothers and sisters, we're going to take a short break. Don't go away. We'll be back soon, inshallah. Welcome back, brothers and sisters, to our fascinating Dawah workshop. Every religion believes that there is one God. Or at least every religion believes there is one ultimate source. In Hinduism, it is called Brahman. They do believe that there's this ultimate remote. This Brahman is remote. It's a remote being. But there is this ultimate power. Yes, they believe in other deities, but there is ultimately one God. So the concept of the Creator is certainly not alien to Christianity. In fact, if you ask a Christian, if you ask most Christians and most Jews and many Hindus, not all Hindus, many Sikhs, most Sikhs, if you ask them, how do you know God exists? How do you know there is a Creator? They will put forward almost exactly the same arguments that we have put forward here. So you may be saying, okay, what's the point then? If I'm talking to someone who already believes in God, what is the point of going through this discussion about the existence of God? Well, the reason is because, first of all, it establishes common ground. The reasons you believe in God and the reasons I believe in God are the same. But as we will find, that the very reasons, the very compelling logical reasons that lead us to believe that the universe has a creator also leads us to believe that the creator of the universe must be different from the universe. The creator of the universe has to be different. We've already outlined that. We already mentioned it a few times. But this is a necessarily logical consequence of our approach. When we try to understand the existence of God rationally, we do that by looking at the universe. And the universe is the totality of what exists in terms of created things. So even if there was another universe beyond this universe, that would actually still be the universe, by the way. All right? Actually, linguistically, it would still be the universe. So even if they said there were multiverses, which is one theory, that there are multiple universes, actually still that all still encompasses the universe, and therefore the explanation still demands an explanation. Because it would also be logical to presume that the multiverses are much more complex than our universe. So that complexity would demand an explanation. How did it come into existence? So the only way that we can rationally explain how the universe came into existence is that it was created by something different and separate and outside itself. Otherwise, we would be faced with the logical absurdity of saying that the universe created itself. We already asked that question. Did it create itself? And we already said, no, that's not possible. Because we don't attribute to the universe and the things within the universe that ability to create itself. So the universe must be created by something outside itself that is separate and distinct and different from itself. Does that all make sense? Good. So, again, to express this in a simple way, if the creator of the universe was of the same nature as the universe, actually all you would have is more of the same. If the nature of the creator of the universe is the same as the universe, you would just have more of the same. So you haven't found an explanation. You'd still be saying, so what created that then? So it doesn't provide any real explanatory power. Rather, we need something that is different, something that is unique, and something that is transcendent. That is why it is very rational to conclude that if the nature of the creator is different from the creation, then we can analyze what are the attributes of the creation. The creation is temporary. As far as we know, it has a beginning, and as far as we know, it has an end. It has a beginning and end. That means it's temporary. It's finite. The universe, as massive as it is still finite. It is still limited. Right? Also, the universe is needy. It is not self-sufficient. The universe does not rely upon itself for its existence. Remember, we said that everything that begins to exist has a cause. The universe began to exist, therefore it must have a cause. And we believe, and we say, that it is unreasonable to claim that a highly sophisticated mechanism or highly sophisticated mechanisms, because there are many mechanisms within the universe, to claim that this is a product of some random event is unreasonable. A more reasonable explanation that it's a product of intelligence. So therefore, the universe is not self-sufficient. It cannot organize itself. It cannot create itself. It needs something outside itself. So, if the universe is limited, finite, and needy, therefore that's the attributes of the creation of the universe. Therefore, the being that has created, or whatever it is that has created this universe, its nature must be different. Therefore, it is quite rational to presume that this being that has created, or whatever it is that has created the universe, is the opposite. So it should be what? Infinite. If the universe is finite, the creator should be infinite. If the universe is limited, the creator should be eternal or unlimited. If the universe is needy, therefore the creator should be, or whatever this is, should be self-sufficient. So therefore, we can rationally conclude, we can easily conclude, just by using our reason, that not only is this creator powerful and intelligent and has will, but this creator or this intelligence is also self-sufficient, eternal, and infinite. Now, it is actually also quite rational and easy to conclude that there only could be one such being. There could only be one such being. How could there be two infinites? Think about it. How could there be two eternals? How could there be two all-powerful, omniscient beings? You couldn't have two. Because if you had two, then one would necessarily restrict the other. And then by definition, that wouldn't be infinite or eternal. You could only really have one such being. Now, we go back to our problem that has been raised. If everything needs a creator, so if the universe needs a creator, what some atheists would claim is that yes, there is logic and reason in claiming that the universe is sophisticated, the universe is organized, and therefore it needs a creator. And they may posit that, for example, it has come from a more sophisticated process of multi-universes, but then obviously that doesn't solve our problem, because then you would need something more sophisticated in order to produce those multiverses from which this universe would come, and therefore it goes on and on. And you understand, it's going to be infinite. You'll have an infinite regress of causes. So you'd say, this universe needs a creator. And then you'd say, well, who created the creator of this universe? Another creator. Well, then who created that creator? Well, another creator. So who created that creator? Well, another creator. So if you understand this, soon you will realize that you will have a creator, creating a creator, creating a creator, creating a creator, going on forever. Ad infinitum, as they say in Latin, forever. Now, there is a very good reason why that doesn't make any sense. Or at least why we could say that is logically not possible. The reason why it's logically not possible is because infinity does not exist in reality. Yes, mathematically, there are infinities mathematically. But infinity has no existence in reality. Right? And to give an example of this, a very simple example. Imagine an example of a sniper. You know, the sniper is in, for example, he's in the army. So these snipers, they have a radio, right? And before they're allowed to shoot the target, they have to contact, target. They say target in sight, target acquired, permission to fire. So they can't fire without permission, right? So imagine someone, the person there on the radio, says, wait a minute, I can't give permission for that. I need someone higher up to give permission. So he radios higher up. And higher up says, no, I'm going to have to radio higher up. And higher up says, I'm going to radio higher up. And if that keeps going on and on and on and on and on forever, will the sniper ever pull the trigger? Or is he just going to be waiting there forever and ever and ever? He's going to be waiting there forever and ever, right? The command will never come. In other words, there has to be a place where this stops. There has to be someone from whom this command is ultimately going to be given. Someone with the ultimate authority. It can't go on forever and ever because then nothing would ever happen. You would just have an endless chain of commands. Okay, brothers and sisters, that's it for now. Join us for the next episode of Dawah Workshop.
رب رحيم مشفق متعطف لا ينتهي بالحصر ما أعطاه رب رحيم مشفق متعطف